Well, ladies and gentlemen, 10 years after the anniversary of GamerGate, we have GamerGate 2 apparently. So, this whole thing is so ridiculous. People criticizing Sweet Baby Inc. and exposing that and Weird Ghosts and what was the other one, Baby Ghost? Them exposing that was apparently a huge deal because this is one nasty latrine. The woke industrial complex got very upset, and now it's trending on Twitter or X, Gamergate 2. And I mean, it's about ethics in not journalism, because most of those people are out of a job. Gamergate did very well in destroying the reputation of these woke journalists. Now it's just about getting these people out of gaming, period. Now you have this thing here from Take This. This, which is a apparently Department of Homeland Security funded group that is here to just absolutely, take a dump on gamers. I'm not gonna read all this. This is just pure, unadulterated filth. This is an extremist manifesto of radical left-wing degeneracy, lunacy, and just otherwise the most demented, out of your mind, out of touch propaganda I've ever seen. And no one is buying this. But this is where your tax dollars are going, if you want to know. To fund stuff like this. Because, for the studio, during the time of Gamergate, the community leadership at the time was of the opinion, well, two things. Republican buy shoes too, which is don't make any outward statement of how wrong all of it. It's like Republicans buy shoes too. That is a correct statement. That's from Michael Jordan, I believe he said. Republicans buy shoes too. So first of all, let's set some ground rules on my personal belief. I believe that the left is irredeemably evil. I believe that what they perpetuate, what they promote, what they believe in is not just demented and wrong, like they're misguided. I think a lot of these people are just stupid, but it doesn't change the fact that they're malevolent. What they do in the quest for their utopia is pretty profane, and it is offensive and should be offensive to every person. Gamergate was something that should have been dealt with in a very easy fashion. Nathan Grayson and Zoe Quinn should have been condemned utterly, and there should have been changes in the industry to make it more in line with what gamers wanted. That's it. Gamergate over. But because they chose to attack gamers and do things like this and create entire charts and go into these underground cabals to try to coordinate. That's how Milo Yiannopoulos really got on the map. Finding the email lists of all of these people that were colluding behind the scenes to try to create these narratives that people didn't like. And so here you have this, just shit show. This is embarrassing. And Take This gets a grant from the Department of Homeland Security. So, I don't want your politics or all of the filth in here, all of the stuff in this, get it out of video games. The people who wrote this, the mentality behind it, the left-wing orthodoxy, that is not normal. That is extremist, radical rhetoric that has no place in civil society. It has no place in gaming. It has no place in media or entertainment or anywhere. Get out. You're not wanted. These aren't insights that are profound. This entire thing, and yes, I did read the whole thing, which is why I'm not going to read it to you because it is so unbelievably ignorant. It's like this. How big of a problem do you think toxicity, trolling, sexual harassment, like trolling is in there with sexual harassment? that lets you know that these people are fucking deranged. These people are sad, pathetic losers. Look at this. Toxicity is a problem in gaming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 radioactive symbols out of 7. Now let me tell you something. I just got done playing Helldivers 2. I played for probably an hour and a half. There was no toxicity. There was none. Yesterday, I played Red Dead Redemption 2, a Rockstar game. There was no toxicity. Now, does that mean that there is no toxicity in the gaming community? No. But to put it at 6 out of 7 stars, like, it's this huge problem, it's not. It is absolutely not. And their definition of toxicity is not the same as mine. I would say these people are toxic. I would say these people are problematic. Because they seek to impose restrictions and to put programs and people into place that believe this crap in order to ruin the fun of people on the internet. There is nobody and nothing more harmful than this stuff and these people and what they believe. This left-wing extremism, this radicalism. This is lunatic shit. This is not normal, acceptable behavior. The way that they categorize gaming, the way that they categorize gamers, that is insane. They are an obsessed cult of sex pest and degenerate losers. I just want to enjoy a game because I want to enjoy Final Fantasy VII and I want to play the game and have attractive women that I could potentially romance in the game, and I want the dialogue to be good, and I don't want any of what they offer. They would call me problematic. Because I don't think you should cover up Tifa or reduce the size of her tits or make her look like that fugly monster from Fable that they're planning to release. I don't think that women should be made to be uglier. I think women should be extremely attractive in games. I think guys should be extremely attractive. I think guys should be buff and inspirational, aspirational. Because it's a fantasy, for God's sake. Even if you're playing a first-person shooter, you don't want to play as some fat, out-of-shape woman or some fat, out-of-shape guy. You want to play like you're a goddamn Marine, like you're a Navy SEAL. You don't want to play Call of Duty and you take 2 steps and you're like, oh my God, this equipment's so heavy. You want a game that is a fantasy because it's not real. But these people want to bring their insecurity and their inferiority and their issues and their problems into your game. And so it's this uncanny valley. You'll be sitting there playing a game and it'll be great. And then all of a sudden there'll be some line of dialogue. And it's just so off-putting. Like, I'm going to fight against the patriarchy. Or these things that they think are effective. Like, oh, well, we're gonna change the shape of women. You know, we're going to make their tits smaller. We're going to make them wear more armor that's more mannish. You know, we're going to change the perception. You're not changing anyone's perception. It's been 10 years and you have failed. You have failed. People use you as a joke. You've killed the comic book industry. You've killed the American entertainment industry for the most part. There are very, 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 very few examples of the American entertainment industry doing it better than Japan. So few examples. You have Avatar: The Last Airbender. Great show. You managed to mess that one up with The Legend of Korra. You devastated that. But at least that one show stands in perpetuity to be an amazing, amazing show. But for the most part, you have devastated American culture, our entertainment. You have embarrassed us with this radical, extremist rhetoric that is apparently being funded by the government. This is insane. Toxicity is not the problem in gaming. You are. Creatives should be free to express whatever ideas they want to in a game. And if there's somebody on the internet that is toxic, you can block them. Go to the mute button in your game and block them. Instead of you trying to make this a crusade issue, where you get to ride out on your white steed and save all of those phantom imaginary people that you think are being affected by this, you can hit the mute button. Or even better, I have a suggestion for all of you people that wrote that filthy, god-awful article, that quote-unquote paper with government money. Take your electronic devices, take your computer, take your TV, take your Switch, whatever you have. Take it, put it in your dumpster, get some lighter fluid, just douse it, make sure it's good, and then throw in a match. Problem solved. You don't have to hear or see any of these evil big bad gamers. And we can continue on enjoying the content that we want, being as toxic as we want. Now, it's ironic because they call us toxic, but they are poisonous. You can see the difference. When something is poisonous, it's brightly colored. So a lot of these people have pink hair and red hair and blue hair, and their face looks like they were hit with like a nail gun. Most of these people who say this stuff are just very unattractive, very overweight. They don't really have any redeeming qualities. Like, if somebody were to look ugly, but they were to be pretty wholesome or interesting, you'd be like, oh, I really like that person. Oh, I think that person's funny. Oh, I think that person's cool. Like, if they were an absolute sweetheart, but they were ugly, you'd never be mean to them. You'd be like, oh, yeah, that's my friend. That's natural to most people. However, if you are ugly and you're a leftist, so you're ugly inside and out, that leads to people saying, I don't want anything to do with you. So, I guess in this situation, what I would say is, if there is going to be a GamerGate 2, which I think it's silly to call it that, GamerGate was very specific. They want to call it that because they think it's a detriment. These people are so insane that they actually think that GamerGate was this hate group, this toxic... No, it never was. It was about keeping gaming accountable and getting these woke ideological lunatics, these narcissistic degenerate scumbags, out of gaming so that gaming could be pure again. It was a movement to make gaming great again. Mega. It was the mega movement. Make gaming great again. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will continue to call this stuff out. It's an ongoing thing. These people, they're just pathetic. I mean, if you really think about it, what are they advocating for? They want to silence you. They want to make the games less fun. They want to make them less interesting. They want you to be quiet. They want to add their propaganda in here. And the only answer is no. And if they push, you push back. Metaphorically speaking, of course. If they try to inject this shit in there, you let them know. There's nothing wrong with calling out Sweet Baby Inc. because Sweet Baby Inc. and all of its subsidiaries and all the other things around it, those people are goddamn evil. You got a whole network of connections from Zoe Quinn to, Alec Holoka, who, Zoe Quinn, through her bullying and her lying about and her trying to say that, oh, he was abusive, got him to end his own life. And then apparently his sister or whatever is, in control of this other group. I don't know if it was like Weird Ghost. And that it's like it is one big incestuous left-wing bubble, and all of the same characters are playing a role. And right down to Polygon and Kotaku trying to run defense for this filth. My point here is that you need to do a better job of letting these companies know that you want no part of it. And you do that in a number of different ways. My way of doing it is making this video, talking to all of you. You can let your voice be known by calling these companies. You don't be rude, because the person on the other end is just an employee. But you call and you let them know. You said, "Hey, look, I bought your games before. I'm a customer. I've invested a lot of time in these. I don't like what I'm seeing where you're doing business with this person." Now, most likely it'll have no impact, but if enough people make a noise, they will take note of it. Now, they could double down and, at that point, then you may take other measures like boycotting and stuff, saying, "Hey, we're not gonna stand for this." But at the end of the day, it's not acceptable what these people are saying. They're insulting you for being gamers. They don't understand the culture, and the irony is they are far more toxic and venomous and poisonous than anything I've seen from the gaming community. Because if you want to know what my personal event was that I thought was the absolute worst that I'd ever seen when it comes to gaming, maybe not the absolute worst, but one of the most just widespread and egregious was when these left-wing radicals went after people who were playing Hogwarts Legacy. That was vicious, malicious. That was disgraceful. Honestly, a lot of those people should be in prison. The guy who created that website to track who had played the game, the irony, that person who made that list, they thought, okay, well, this is sort of okay. But a guy makes a Discord group picking out games that Sweet Baby Inc. had a hand in. And all of a sudden, that guy needs to be shut down and canceled. It's a double standard. It's hypocrisy. These people, and I don't think I can emphasize this enough, these people are genuinely the worst human beings I've ever seen. And their modus operandi continues to be to gaslight, and to gaslight, and to gaslight, and to gaslight. And if that doesn't work, then to accuse you of being a nefarious actor because you don't agree with them. Like, "Oh, I don't like the design for She-Ra. It looks absolutely terrible." Well, that's just because you wanted to jerk off Well, the reason that they use that, by the way, is because they're all perverts. These people on the left, I need you to understand. These are like Vosh fans. All of these people have a folder. And that folder, when they die and they go straight to the bowels of hell, that's going to be a folder where they're probably going to have to live out the fantasy of getting, I shouldn't say that. Let's just say a giant horse with a spiked giant phallus. I tell you what, though, all of these people on the left, they are all just creeps. These people online, they all have a folder. They're all the same. They protest very loudly, very vociferously. Vosh said, "Well, these people who like anime, they're these people who like these anime girls, they're this and this and this and this and this." And then it turns out he's got a folder that's worse than what most people can even imagine. So, my point here, ladies and gentlemen, is that it's not GamerGate 2.0, really. It's yet another example of people trying to move things in a direction that the majority of humanity, the majority of gamers don't want. And the correct response is to tell people like this to go F themselves. Right there. Give them a giant middle finger, call them a big piece of trash, and then just walk away. And support games that are fun, like Helldivers and any other that comes along that really wants to engage with the audience. Anyway, that'll do it, ladies and gentlemen, and I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.